Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, there's an old saying in the world of investing: when everybody's panicking, it's time to stay calm, and when everybody's calm, maybe it's time to start worrying. But it's funny how for so many people, emotions take over and their judgment gets clouded. And that seems to be exactly what's happening right now. The media, the globalists, the sellout class, they're losing their minds over Donald Trump's tariff strategy, clearly pushing fear. We're seeing hysterical headlines across the board, pundits acting like it's 2008 all over again. We're headed towards the Great Depression. We got Jim Cramer talking about Black Monday coming after the weekend.
The president doesn't try to reach out and reward these countries and companies that play by the rules in the 1987 scenario, the one where we went down 3 days and then down 22% on Monday, has the most cogency. We will not have to wait out too long, will we? We'll know by Monday. Fortunately, we had an excellent set of employment numbers today. At least it makes it less likely a crash will necessarily lead to a recession. But if President Trump stays intransigent and does nothing to ameliorate the damage that I saw these last 2 days, I'm not going to be constructive here. I will contain my anger, but only because I lived through 87, and in the end, I came out okay. I was in cash for the crash. I know what this feels like. Oh, and if Europe moves against our fabulous tech companies next week, then I will be furious. That I promise you. Because it should not happen.
But let's be absolutely real as to what's going on here. They're doing what they always do. They're trying to scare you. They're trying to scare the average American out of supporting policies that will actually help you. It's absolute media insanity, a fear-mongering frenzy. But thankfully, every now and then, someone cuts through all the noise. And in this case, it's legendary investor Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, who comes in cutting through all the BS and inserts some sanity in a media jungle of total insanity. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so while everyone else is hyperventilating and declaring the end of the American economy as we know it, I guess some people still have their heads screwed on straight.
Can you defend the tariffs?
I try and focus on the signal, not the noise. Harris is not president. Trump is. And if you don't like him 12 years ago, you don't like him now, and I get it. But that's not the issue. Let's talk about the situation here. Reciprocal tariffs that have been put in place, they're basically hours for some country. We've got 60 countries on the list. Already, you've heard from Thailand, Cambodia, the EU, and Senator Kenney in Louisiana calling for zero tariffs between Canada and the United States. The whole point is it's a negotiation. And if you can get to zero tariffs, that's the best outcome. That's called free trade. That's 50% of why these tariffs are put on. So I'd argue to you, yeah, I hate volatility. I don't like it when the market corrects, but the market corrects all the time. And it generally goes down 15 to 20%. It's proven over 100 years plus. It's a great buying opportunity. And we just got the jobs numbers. The economy is just fine. Now, maybe you don't like watching sausage being made. Obviously, Trump doesn't care. He's an unusual character that way. A lot of these negotiations are done in private quarters. Trump doesn't care. You saw the first of that with Lewinsky. That's just the way he operates. So I don't care about the noise. I care about the outcome.
And there you have it. And the thing is, he's not wrong. Tariffs are not new. Tariffs are not radical. They're not some evil invention that Donald Trump cooked up in a dark room to sabotage the American economy on behalf of the Russians. Every single country pretty much on planet Earth uses tariffs. They're tools, they're leverage. The people who are claiming that these tariffs are going to destroy the American economy are either too dumb to understand basic economics, they're either totally brainwashed and partisan, or they're actively lying to protect the same multinational parasites that shipped your jobs to China. This isn't a crisis, it's not an apocalypse. And honestly, I think if you're betting against America right now, you're a damn fool, especially on the issue of tariffs. Oh, a few tariffs were levied against countries that tariff America. Drop everything, pull all your money out of the banks and out of the markets. We're going to zero. Give me a break. You never win long-term betting against the American economy. That's like the golden rule of smart investing. There's going to be volatility, sure, but volatility is not the same as a collapse. And anybody with a real stake in building the future knows that America and its workforce are unmatched anywhere across the world. And so sure, there's some people panicking. There's some people with weak hands, but that really doesn't mean very much. The fundamentals at the end of the day haven't changed. Private sector job growth remains pretty strong. Wages are climbing. We're in the middle of a tech revolution with AI, robotics, automation. Sure, we've seen short-term volatility, a little bit of a tank, but things are still moving in the right direction. And at the end of the day, the American economy is still the envy of the world. American companies are still world-leading, and it's really not even close. But But if you listen to the mainstream media, oh, it's the end of the world as we know it, right? Oh, the hypocrisy. You know, back during Joe Biden's 4 years, when the markets across the board were down 20 to 30 points, I don't remember hearing this kind of doomsday rhetoric. No, we all remember what they were saying back then, right? We were in the midst of an actual recession, but they were telling us, well, this isn't a real recession. What an absolute farce that is. That's how you know they're full of it and can't be trusted, because there's a different standard for one than there is for the other. But at the end of the day, even after all the damage that Joe Biden inflicted on the country, look where we are today. I mean, that's proof of the strength of the American market. The idea that a few tariffs are going to collapse the American economy is a complete joke. And you know, if that was truly the case, then wouldn't we be seeing economic collapse across the world? I mean, every other country has tariffs. And that's another part of this conversation that I find so hysterical. Victor Davis Hanson actually mentioned this in his recent video.
Why would you get angry at the person who is reacting to the asymmetrical tariff and not the people who inaugurated the tariff? Why is Canada mad at us when it's running a $63 billion surplus and it has tariffs on some American products at 250%? Doesn't it seem like the people who started this asymmetrical, if I could use the word trade war, should be the culpable people, not the people who are reluctantly reacting to it?
You know, the double standard is quite frankly hilarious. Just look at Canada. They've applied tariffs on US goods for years, for decades. But now that Trump is saying, well, okay, you have tariffs on us, well, we're going to tariff you, suddenly Trump is some sort of economic terrorist? A tyrant waging economic war? I mean, it's unreal. Just look at this headline. Canadian Finance Minister Melanie Joly claims that Canada's relationship with the US will, quote, never be the same. Don't you find that incredibly entitled and hypocritical? Canada tariffs the US and nobody even bats an eye. A couple targeted relatively low tariffs here and there on Canadian imports, and America has committed this grave sin and destroyed the relationship forever. It's such a manufactured, hyperbolic crisis across the board. It's not even funny. And it's so obvious that people are exaggerating for whatever purpose they may be doing so. But at the end of the day, look what the smart investors are doing. Not even flinching. Kevin O'Leary doesn't seem to be panicking, because yeah, things happen, markets fluctuate, they crash, they recover. Again, markets were down up to 30% during Biden's first 2 years. Just look at the chart and that was A-okay, but now we see a slight dip and it's the end of the world. Come on. Obviously, Trump's plan isn't chaos. It's not to tank global trade. Don't fall for the media hysteria. You know, the way I'm looking at it, I'm betting on America. Who cares if Wall Street isn't? You know, it's just like we keep hearing. Who cares what Wall Street thinks? It's Main Street's turn, baby. It's basically that simple, at least in my mind. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.